Choose life and live. Buy original. Be original. SON.
Stop exposing innocent Nigerians to avoidable deaths and injury. Director, Inspectorate and Compliance Standards Organization of Nigeria warns unprofessional builders as another building collapsed in Ibadan, Oyo State, southwest Nigeria. Director General of the Standards Organization of Nigeria restates commitment to develop critical quality infrastructure, pledges to promote the growth of metrology, the science of measurement to boost economic activities in the various sectors of the economy. It's standard and new and nice to have you join us on the program. It's the only platform where you get to know more about product safety and quality. Please don't go nowhere because we've got a lot for you on this week's edition of the program. My name is Ifoma Okonko, and as always, my pleasure bringing the program to you.
Our interest in small and medium-scale enterprises is born out of government desire to grow that sector of our economy. And that we've been doing well with the Office of the Vice President and other sister agencies to inculcate the culture of quality assurance to small and micro enterprises. We've been doing this by participating in, with other sister agencies, in SME clinics that is being organized by the Office of the Vice President, and it has been a resounding success.
Choose life and live. Buy original. Be original. SON.
Welcome to the program. It comes to you at this time on this station every Monday. Standard and You is an initiative of the SON. We begin the program by telling you that it's fast becoming a recurring event, an unfortunate one that more often leaves trail of destruction of lives and property. It's building collapse. Yes, in most cases resulting in the use of substandard building materials. Investigations by Standard and You reveal that we've had between March and April this year 3 incidents of collapsed building in Lagos and Oyo states. The latest was a 2-story building under construction at Jericho, Eleyele, Ibadan, Oyo State, where 8 persons sustained various degrees of injury. Director, Inspectorate and Compliance of the Standards Organization of Nigeria, Engineer Obiora Manafa, was at the site to pick up samples of the used building materials. Please take a look.
Remember when this building on this spot in Lagos went down? Several children died and many others injured. Just when Nigerians were beginning to come to terms with the devastating effect of the sad event, another structure gave way in Shogoye area of Ibadan, Oyo State, leaving scores of people injured. Barely few months after these unfortunate incidents, a building under construction in Jericho, Eleyele, Ibadan, Oyo State fell down and left 8 people seriously injured. An eyewitness told Standard and You that it happened at 4 p.m. According to him, the concrete cast on a portion of the building had begun to give way, and this was reported to the engineer on site, who insisted that construction work continued. What happened, he added, was a rude shock as the building fell down. Expectedly, local authorities visited the site and samples of some of the building materials were taken for analysis to ascertain the cause of the building collapse.
From our observation, what we have seen here, they didn't do the conventional slab, that's the decking. They didn't do the conventional slab, which is the use of concrete entirely. They have done what we call hardy slabs. Hardy slabs is where they use hollow bricks as against concrete. It has some advantages, like saving costs, because it reduces the quantity of concrete used for the decking, that's the slab. And also it reduces the weight of the slab on the building. So I'm sure that is what they did here. But from the observation, what we have seen here is the slab that collapsed, the slab. But when you are doing this kind of slab, you need expertise. You need professionals that knows how to do that kind of construction. It's a special construction, special type of construction. So what we are seeing here, we are seeing bad workmanship. That is what we are seeing here, bad workmanship.
In Nigeria, we know that oftentimes we always try to cut corners. There are always sharp practices being practiced in Nigeria. People do not want to do things as it should be done. Normally, if you want to construct any building, you should employ the services of quantity surveyors, land surveyors, estate valuers, and so on and so forth. All these are professionals who know the rudiments of putting up any structure.
It's because of inferior materials the builders are using, and they are also trying to economize. Instead of using a bag of cement, they will go and use 2 barrels of sand. So all these things are contributing. And at the same time, the engineers, the committee of coring, they are not doing what they're supposed to do to be monitoring all these buildings.
Like many well-meaning Nigerians, officials of the Standards Organization of Nigeria have often expressed deep concern over the use of substandard products, especially building materials, and continued destruction of lives and properties.
Before you start construction in the first place, you have a design. You have architectural design, you have a structural design, you have the M&E design, mechanical engineering and electrical engineering designs. So if you get all these designs, you give them to a qualified quantity surveyor. The quantity surveyor will develop what we call BOQ, bill of quantity, for you. So the bill of quantity will specify all the materials you need to do your building. Both the name of the material, the quality. Most BOQs carry even trademark or brand name of up till pence, So it is now the duty of the developer, the owner, depending on his pocket, to know how to assemble these materials when they come.
However, findings have shown that it's not all the time that these structures give way as a result of the use of substandard materials. Another major cause of this ugly development is the prevalence of quacks in the building and construction industry.
And where there are no adequate steps taken in order for any project to be commenced the way it should be, there is bound to be failure. And once there is failure, then there will be a collapse here or there. There will be a failure, let me put it that way. There's going to be a failure in either the strength of the material that is not well made, or the wrong choice of material, or in the course of trying to manage costs, they make use of the wrong material, or trying to circumvent things in order to make more gain. Take, for instance, the popular aspect of the developers we have in Lagos. Only a selected few will come around and say he's a developer and will not make a way to make maximum gain. They didn't see it as too much of gain or looking for any looming disaster anywhere. They just see that if you can, in economics, you say there is nothing like over-profiting. It is making use of the marginal utility that object has. And basically, it is failure to implement things in the way it should be, and making the right choice of materials, putting the right people that are supposed to be managing the project. That's basically the things that are causing this.
For instance, investigations by the Standards Organization of Nigeria revealed that the cause of the collapsed building in Lagos is not as a result of the use of substandard materials, as explained by the Director of Inspectorate and Compliance, Engineer Obiora Manafa.
And the samples of steel bars, which we tested, and we discovered that they passed the test in line with NIS 117. They all passed, all the samples we collected from that site passed test. So the collapse of that building was not as a result of substandard products. There are so many factors that can cause building to collapse. Poor workmanship, when you don't have good design, when you have a good design and you don't apply it properly, when you engage wax in doing your work. So there are so many things that can cause building to collapse. But as far as that Lagos collapse is concerned, we tested the steel bars, samples we collected, and they all passed. And we have about the best lab in the country for testing those kind of materials.
He says laboratory analysis on samples taken at the site in Shogoye area in Ibadan, Oyo State, is ongoing to determine what led to the collapse of the building. On-the-spot findings have shown that these structures were not handled by professionals, adding that should this dangerous trend continue, chances are that more of such buildings may give way over time.
Why we are having all this building collapse is use of wax. That's the truth. A lot of people are engaging wax, and it's not right. You know, in buying your materials, you bring in wax to buy your materials. In doing your construction, some of them cannot even interpret simple drawings, structural drawings. Some of them cannot interpret it. They cannot read architectural. They cannot.
When you have a property, it's been lying fallow. Take a property within this place. A building developer will come around, look for a way by which the owner or source the owner and tell the person there is, there are laudable projects for which you can build your house. It's called build, operate, and transfer, build, operate, and own, and all those stuff like that. You see, because the economic power of the person that owns the land, whichever thing they propose to him is willing to take. And the man, in order to maximize profit, is the one building. He knows the building after some while of years becomes that of the man. Instead of the building lasting for a particular extent of years, it will not. It will start to fail when it is not supposed to. So putting all those into check, we'll find out that we'll be able to have that kind of measure for which quack that are proliferating the establishment that we have now. We can find a way to curb their excesses.
The Director General of the Standards Organization of Nigeria has clearly warned that the agency, working with relevant stakeholders in the building and construction industry, will continue to enforce and promote standards.
On our part, we are doing the best we can by way of collaborating with other regulatory agencies in terms of improving the building code and setting a viable standard for buildings in Nigeria, for the construction industry in Nigeria. It's ongoing, it's been quite robust, and I think we'll be able to do more. Most of the products that the building material manufactured within Nigeria have traceability. Most of them comply to our national industrial standards, be it cement, iron rod, they have traceability. We're even exporting most of these building products outside Nigeria. Then the ones that come in from abroad, that's from outside Nigeria, we try as much as possible for them to conform to our SON conformity assessment program too, so that will prevent unscrupulous people from dumping substandard and life-endangering products to Nigeria.
Measures, he added, will be put in place to discourage the use of substandard materials, as well as ensure that only professionals are allowed to build houses in the country. Aboloma wants Nigerians to place huge value on the human life rather than monetary gain.
Why you dey buy fake product, make you dey careful, no go damage your life. You've got one life to live. Buy original. You should know where to go. The SON. Don't touch, don't touch. It's fake. Don't touch, don't touch. It's bad. Don't touch, don't touch. It hurts. Don't touch, don't touch. It destroys. Don't touch, don't touch. It kills. You should know where to go. The SON.
Standards Organization of Nigeria, improving lives through standards.
You're watching Standard and You, reaching you on Africa's largest television network, the NTA. Our transmission time is 6:30 p.m. every Monday. Did you know that the Standards Organization of Nigeria is expanding its quality infrastructure to deepen its capacity to ensure the quality of goods and promote standardization in Nigeria? This was disclosed by the Director General of the agency at a sensitization workshop with the theme, The Role of Calibration on Trade and Business Growth in Enugu, Southeast Nigeria. It was represented at the forum by the Director of National Metrology Institute, NMI, Engineer Bid Obai.
This sensitization, organized by the Standards Organization of Nigeria, is one of several measures by the agency aimed at boosting the agency's capacity to tackle the problem of fake and substandard products. In specific terms, the focus of this gathering is to provide insights into the importance and economic benefits of calibration that deals with measurement. The overall objective is to explore ways of attaining accuracy in measurement in national or global transition. The overall objective is to explore ways of attaining accuracy in measurement in national or global transactions for the nation's economic growth and development. In his message to the forum, Director General of the Standards Organization of Nigeria, Osita Aboloma Esquire, disclosed that efforts are to develop what he described as the biggest and well-equipped national metrology institute that will facilitate calibration services that will guarantee quality assurance, traceability, and accuracy in various sectors of the economy.
The Standards Organization of Nigeria, through the federal government efforts to diversify the economy of this country by making sure that all our sectors of the economy come on board, be it agriculture, be it health, be it production, that when we are doing what we are supposed to do, the economy of this country will continue to grow geometrically. And that is where we are talking about a just measure. That if you have the right instruments for measuring these products that are coming out, then there will be no substandard product in circulation. There will be no faking, because there will be measures. If you are selling even meat in the market, somebody should sell meat according to the weight, not lifting it up or using knife to just cut. Everybody will know that when you are getting the right weight, you are getting the right measure. When you are getting the right size, you are getting the right measure.
The SOM boss says, and I quote, "Adopting the best practices of calibration with Nigeria's NMI will help the country to conserve foreign exchange, before now penned to other countries' metrology institutes." End of quote. A metrology expert who spoke on the topic, Effective Calibration Services in Metrology on Trade, Business and Economic Growth in Nigeria, Kayode Olagunju, wants the issue of calibration to be taken seriously by all in the country. There were goodwill messages from some participants at the forum, which attracted stakeholders from both the private and public sectors of the economy.
Two importers have been remanded in prison for allegedly forging import documents of the Standards Organization of Nigeria to bring into the country suspected substandard liquefied petroleum gas cylinders. The suspects, Emmanuel Anthony Nna and John Paul Ejike, were remanded in prison custody by an Igboshere Magistrate Court sitting in Lagos, presided over by Chief Magistrate O. Oshin. According to SON's prosecutor, Adeleke Olofindare, the suspects were apprehended when they presented forged product registration certificate with the signature of a former SON chief executive to the organization's office at 3 Boma Road, Apapa. They were arrested and handed over to the police. It will be recalled that the SON's boss, Osita Aboloma Esquire, had earlier in the year admonished stakeholders, which include importers and manufacturers of goods, to ensure strict compliance to the SONCAP and MANCAP provisions for imports and local production.
Hello and nice to have you on the feedback segment of the program. I am Halimot Osifo. When we talk about patriotism, what comes to your mind? Do you think of laying down your life for the country? Do you show love, loyalty, and devotion to Nigeria? Patriotism is about doing your best and contributing your quarter to make Nigeria a country of our dream. Standards Organization of Nigeria is a government agency saddled with the responsibility of protecting Nigerians from fake and substandard products. We are resolved at the SON to reach the markets of fake and substandard products and stop at nothing in helping consumers get value for their money. As a consumer, do you insist on quality and report cases of substandard products to the Standards Organization of Nigeria? What about you, the manufacturer or importer? Are you patriotic enough to ensure consumer satisfaction through the quality and safety of your products? To be a patriot, you do not have to carry a rifle and go to the war front. All you have to do is play your part in making Nigeria a better place. Kelechi from Habia says, please, what is the requirements for product certification? It depends on the product certification scheme you're applying for. For information about that, you can check our website at www.son.gov.ng. Etuko from Surulere says, is it a crime to return a product you have found to be substandard back to the seller? I bought a kerosene stove and realized when I tried to put it off, it becomes explosive. Seller has refused to address my complaints. No, it's not a crime to report when you found a product to be substandard. In fact, it's your consumer right, which is your right to redress that allows you to seek for a replacement, repair, or refund of money as the case may be. So please insist on quality. Christopher Turaki from Jos says, thank you, SON. I have learned something about roofing sheets today. God bless you. Amen. Thank you so much, Christopher. Daniel Mamza from Meduguri says, you are doing a good job. Keep it up. How can we know about product standards? Yes, we have standards for various products. For information about this, please visit any of SON's offices near you. Evelyn Ifiadi from Delta says, kudos to the Director General of the Standards Organization of Nigeria for all the good work he's doing. God is using him to save lives through awareness on product standards. Nigerians are proud of you and all your achievements. Thank you so much. It's our pleasure, Evelyn. Thank you for reaching out to us. It's nice to hear from you. Prince from Rivers says, I love this program. Do you have an office in Rivers State? Yes, sure. Our Son Rivers State office is at Air Freight House, Kilometer 1, Port Harcourt on the road by LMA Junction, Port Harcourt. Christian Gilala says, how much do your products or services cost? We do not sell products. But for information about any of our services, you can check our website at www.son.gov.ng. And that concludes this week's episode of the program Standard and You. Keep your messages coming in with your full name and location to the number 0705-972-4455. Follow us on Facebook at Standard and You, Instagram and Twitter at Standard and You _. Remember, we have previous episodes online at youtube.com/Standard and You. Don't just view, like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thanks and enjoy the rest of the week.
Why you dey buy fake product, Make you dey careful, no go damage your life. You've got one life to live.